Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Infinite Trade. So today let's do some analysis on Nifty and Bank Nifty for tomorrow, as well as we'll also try and see what could be the weekly view on Nifty and Bank Nifty both. Okay, so last time like when I made the video last week, so that time I had told you that both Nifty and Bank Nifty, so particularly Bank Nifty, so it was like on the 15 minutes time frame we saw that it was coming down like this and we saw first pullback. So I told you, like, after this pullback there are two possibilities: either it can break this low further and fall further, or else it can spend some time here, something like this, and then break this level and start a new rally on the upside. So right now we are still within this area, so there is no confirmation whether the trend is going to change on the upside or is it going to continue on the downside. But any which ways, we'll do some other analysis and see what conclusion that we can get for the coming week. So let's begin the analysis. So the first thing, so on a weekly chart, it is clearly visible that Bank Nifty has formed a halt candle, something like a spinning top or a doji candle. Okay, and this is something which I was expecting in both Nifty and Bank Nifty, that the weekly candle could be in a halt candle, because we have a very big candle here. So whenever you see a very big candle, it could be a green or it could be even red. So immediately the next day, usually it's a halt candle. So if I have to give an example, look at this: a big candle, then halt candle, a big candle here, then a halt candle. So this is how the price follows a candlestick pattern. So we checked Bank Nifty. So after a good amount of selling pressure, there is a halt candle. So usually what happens is, after a good amount of selling pressure, there is a halt candle, then further market breaks down. This is what usually happens. So this is something which we are seeing it on a weekly chart. So now let's move on to the daily chart and see if we could see any different picture or is it the same. So on a daily chart as well, it is a similar sort of thing. So there is a big candle here and then a small halt candle that has been formed. So this halt candle is basically made on Muhurat trading. So but still it is a bearish candle and also an inside candle. So if we break this level, possibly there will be a very good momentum that we can expect either on Monday or in the coming days. So this is the overall structure of Bank Nifty. It still looks bearish because there was a selling pressure and then it has taken a pullback and then it has come down. So now either we can continue on the downside or we can take halt here and then slowly gradually you can break this and go towards the upside. So on a weekly time frame, it is difficult to say if it is going to change its trend, because weekly trend is still bearish, because at the top Nifty and Bank Nifty both have formed very good bear candles. So in Bank Nifty we saw that on a weekly chart it's a bearish engulfing, and in Nifty it was dark cloud cover. So let's quickly look at Nifty also. Yeah, so this is Nifty weekly time frame. So on a weekly time frame we can see a dark cloud cover. So this is one of the bearish candlestick pattern. So I'm just writing it down. Dark cloud cover. It is a bearish reversal pattern. And then we again have a very long bear candle, and then we can see a halt candle. But comparatively, Nifty's halt candle shows some buying, whereas Bank Nifty's halt candle was almost like a doji. But this candle has some sort of body in it, which shows that people are buying. Now let's move on to the daily chart. So on the daily chart, similarly, so like Bank Nifty has formed a inside candle, Nifty has also formed an inside candle. But the only difference is Nifty has formed the inside candle somewhere near the high of the previous candle, and in Bank Nifty, it has formed somewhere near the low of the bear candle. So there are differences here. But again, if we look at Nifty, this has also come down and showed a pullback. Now either it can go down further, or it can consolidate here and then slowly gradually change its trend. So over a weekly time frame, both in Nifty and Bank Nifty, it is difficult to say that it is going to turn bullish, because on a weekly time frame it is purely bearish, and as per the candlestick patterns, the target is not yet achieved. And if we look at the daily time frame, yes, there was some pullback, but if it has to really change the trend, then it requires some more time, maybe around 2-3 days. It should spend time here, which shows that people are accumulating here, and then if it gives a breakout on the higher side, that confirms that it has changed the trend. So whatever it is, I'll definitely keep you updated on the daily analysis video. Okay, so we have spoken about weekly view. Now to support the weekly view, I would like to show you the open interests also. Okay, so let's look at Nifty first. So if you look at Nifty, this is the 11th November expiry data, the option chain. So these are all call writings and these are put writings. So 17,000 is definitely a very good support for the week, and 18,000 is a good resistance. But however, if we compare it with the put writings, call writing seems to be more significant if we leave this 17,000 open interest. Otherwise, if you see, call writings are very significant. But if we go to the monthly expiry, things are a little different. Call writings are not that stronger, but put writings are very strong. Okay, and this is also the case in Bank Nifty. So if we look at Bank Nifty weekly expiry, the current expiry, 40,000 has the highest amount of open interest, and we can clearly see that call writings are very significant and put writings are not that great. But again, in the monthly open interest chart, we can see that put writings are quite high. So 39,000 seems to be a very good support, and the call writings are not that great. So what does this mean? So this says that though people are bearish for the current expiry, but people who are trading the monthly expiries, they are not that bearish. They feel that market may turn around. Why the market may turn around? So if you look at the put call ratio, let's look at for the 11th November. See, the put call ratio is 0.68. Okay, so 0.68 put call ratio means call writers are aggressive and it is a bearish sign. But also, a lot of times Nifty and Bank Nifty both, they usually reverse from 0.55 to 0.6. So whenever they hit this particular area, there is a possibility of reversal. So we are somewhere close to it. So that is the reason maybe on the monthly option chain, people are not that bearish. We can cross check the put call ratio in Nifty also. Let's check Nifty. Okay, Nifty is around 0.84, which means that it is neutral. Okay, so they are neither bearish nor bullish, but a possibility of a reversal that we can see from the put call ratio. And if people who are following put call ratio, a couple of days before, Nifty was trading at a put call ratio of 0.56, and that's when it took a U-turn. As I told you, like usually around 0.5 to 0.6, market consolidate and takes a U-turn, and Nifty did that. So that's how the option chain is read. So right now let's move on to our analysis for tomorrow. So for tomorrow's analysis, first we'll look at the participant wise open interest. Okay. So looking at the participant wise open interest, this is a small figure, so we will avoid this. FIs have sold 4,800 calls and they have sold 12,700 puts, which means call selling is less and put selling is more, but they have not bought any options, which means that they are not expecting a very good momentum upside, but they are expecting that the market may stay range bound to a little upside. Whereas if we check pros, they have some future long. They have about 25,000 call buy and 10,000 put buy. So if both side, if you see buying of options or going long in calls and puts, that means market may turn volatile. Okay, so we'll have to be careful, especially if we are trading intraday. Now let's quickly look at the data here. So FIs have created a very little long positions in future and around 50% of short positions. So shorts are less, and pros have created 3,800 long positions and 1,100 short positions. So which is a clear indication that the shorts as of now are lesser. Similarly, if we look at call options, there are about 11,600 call long and 16,000 short. So on the call side, the shorts are more for FIs, and pros have 81,000 long and 56,000 short. That means their shorts on the calls are lesser. That means pros are bullish. And if we look at puts, 18,000 put long for, sorry, it's, yeah, 18,000 put long for FIs and 30,000 short. That means they are a little bullish. And similarly, if we look at pros, 1,12,000 put longs and 1 lakh put short. So here there doesn't seem to be too much of bullishness because they have not shorted put in huge numbers, but the only problem is they have not shorted heavy calls. So overall, what I can expect from this data is both FIs and pros are expecting market to be sideways to bullish. Okay, so when I say sideways to bullish, you can see a trade something like this. You know, it may go higher and close somewhere here. So a small momentum like this. So I hope things are clear with respect to the data. Now let's quickly check option chain once. So let's first check for Bank Nifty, because after checking the option chain, we'll analyze Bank Nifty's chart first. So Bank Nifty 40,000 is a very good resistance. So, you know, taking this resistance at least for tomorrow seems to be impossible. Later on, we can see in the day that if it is decreasing or put writers are increasing, based on that, we can take a decision for the next day. put writing is not that aggressive. 39,500 has some aggressive put writing because market gapped up on the day of moral trading. So definitely it was a round number and market gapped up nearly around 39,700. So definitely 39,500 put writers would enter and do some writings aggressively. So that was expected, and market has closed above 39,500. So precisely 39,574. So overall, this week's data, the option chain seems to be bearish, but based on the data created by FIs and pros, let's see if this option chain changes tomorrow. Sorry. So let's look at Bank Nifty, 15 minutes time frame, and I'll just unlock the levels. So these are the levels which I marked before I thought of recording the video. You can also mark this levels. So what should be your plan? So initially Bank Nifty has not yet filled this gap. Okay, so the scope of filling the gap is still remaining. So what you have to do, just mark a line, something like this. And tomorrow, if we open flat or slightly gap up, and if you think that we are closing below this candle, you can immediately take put long, and your target should be this 39,318. So precisely you can plan a target of 39,340, something like this, to be on the safer side. Okay, so what is the level that you need to look for if you have to enter short? Is around 39,550. Okay, so if a candle closes below 39,550, you should go for a put long, and your target will be 39,340. So roughly around 200 points. And then if we consolidate here, and then if we break this level in the second half, you can definitely again take an entry on the put side, and this time the target can be a little better. You can expect a fall until 39,800 also, but sorry, it's 38,800, but safe traders can exit around 39,000. So this should be your plan on the downside. So what about upside? So upside, so usually whenever you see a halt candle like this, people trade the breakouts either this side or at this side, but upside scope seems to be a little limited. So I would not expect you to take a trade here. Rather, mark this trend line, and if you see that Bank Nifty is crossing this trend line, is when you can take an entry. Your immediate target should be, so let's see, let's first plan an entry point. Okay, so suppose it is crossing that previous day high, so the high that was created on moral trading, if it is crossing in the second half, which can be a trend line break also, so that would be the best place to take an entry. So your immediate target should be around 39,900 to 40,000. Okay, so I think there is about 200 to 300 points movement expected. We are not planning a very big target. The only reason is, looking at the data, we saw that they are expecting sideways to slightly bullish. So that is the only reason we are not expecting a very big target. So tomorrow, if we break this trend line and we close somewhere here, and next day if we start spending time here, and if we see a breakout, something like this, then definitely we are going to go long aggressively. So whatever the plan is, I'll definitely let you all know. So we have almost discussed all the possibilities in Bank Nifty, except for a gap up. So in case if we gap up, nothing, there is a possibility we may gap up in the trend line. If you see a negative candle here, immediately in the next candle, if it breaks, you can take an entry, and it will not halt here, it will directly come and halt here. Okay, so you can definitely go for a put long at this place. So mark the trend line, mark these levels. This can be helpful for tomorrow. So this is our plan for Bank Nifty. Now let's quickly go and check for Nifty. Okay, Nifty is trading something like this. Just zooming it a little bit. So there is a trend line here. Nifty's trend line is quite far. Okay, so reaching till this trend line is also a difficult task. So for Nifty, the same thing, mark this high, mark this low. Tomorrow, if we open flat and if we immediately break this level, so what is that level? Let's check. It is 7,900. Okay, so 7,900 acted as a support on the day of Muhurat trading. So 17,900. So close below 17,900. So at least wait for two candles. Okay, so sometimes what happens is, if this is a support, you may see a good bear candle closing below this. Immediately you may see a green candle coming upside, and then slowly, gradually it rises. So there is a possibility something like this. So wait for two candles at least. People say that wait for 15 minutes. I don't actually wait for 15 minutes. So all that I require here is, if a red candle closes something like this, and if we see a halt candle something like this, I immediately go short. Okay, so that's how you should also plan. And on the upside is still limited for me. Why I say that it is limited, I'll show you on a higher time frame. So if we look at the daily chart for Nifty, okay, so this is Nifty. So Nifty had a strong resistance at around 17,940 to 950. So 17,940 to 950. So this is that place. So it almost took about 2 months to break this resistance, and then it showed a rally. But however, in this downfall, we are trading near that level. So since it has spent so much of time here, there is a possibility it may still spend a couple of more days at least here. I'm not saying that it has spent 2 months earlier, so this time also it may spend that much time, but that was an accumulation zone, so it definitely would have some respect, and people would try to enter. Even the bulls would try to enter, even the bears would try to take it down. So that is a possibility. And if we look at Nifty on a smaller time frame, we are still trading below 950. See, the closing is around 916. So 950 is still seems to be a strong resistance. So what we can do is, I would say avoid Nifty at least until it gives a strong close around 17,980 to 18,000. So if we see a close on a daily candle around this place, even I would turn a little bullish, because there is a possibility that we may go and hit this trend line and reject once and then finally break this trend line. So there is a possibility. So Nifty also, I would suggest you only look for a put entry if it breaks the low tomorrow, and your immediate target should be around 17,800. So a good 100 points fall is something which we can expect. And In future, maybe on Tuesday or something, if we break this level 17,700, if we break this level, we can expect a further fall until 17,500 and then 17,340, like that. So I'll show you the levels later. Right now we are far away from it, so this should be the plan. What if we gap down? So if we gap down, no worries, just wait for a small retracement to this place and you can immediately enter in a put side. Your target would be the same. If we gap up about this, then the situation would change. Okay, Nifty would start spending time here. So wait for it to consolidate here, and whenever it breaks that range, whichever side, you can take an entry that side. And if it is opening gap up and then it is filling this gap, and then if it is showing a small bounce and then breaking this again, you can definitely take an entry. So I hope the plan is clear for tomorrow for Nifty and Bank Nifty both. So in case of any questions, you can write that on your comments, like how I analyze. So whenever I say some points on price action, if you do not understand it, you can let me know. I'll make a separate video on that, because a lot of learning videos I have planned, but I'm unable to record it because my wife was pregnant and she delivered a baby boy a couple of days before. So I think once things settle down, I'll quickly come up with a lot of learning videos. Thank you for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe the channel. Spread this channel to your friends and families, which would be a motivational factor for me so that I come up with a lot of videos. Thank you so much. Let's meet in the video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.